Hey, what's up? My name is Dave, and as you know, I interpret everything, and today I'm going to be interpreting Trap, the newest film coming from writer-director M. Night Shyamalan, starring Josh Hartnett as Cooper, a seemingly happy-go-lucky father taking his daughter Riley, played by Ariel Donahue, to a massive concert featuring her favorite singer-songwriter, Lady Raven, played by Shyamalan's own daughter, Salika Shyamalan. Soon, Cooper realizes that the place is surrounded by the police, being led by a criminal profiler as they search for a serial killer by the name of the Butcher, who just so happens to be our very own Cooper. So throughout the runtime of the film, Cooper tries to outsmart every move the police make in order to stay one step ahead of them so that he can ultimately escape. One of the problems that I've seemed to notice while watching any given M. Night Shyamalan film is the fact that our brains often jump to the very real possibility that there might be a twist ending. So instead of fully tuning into the story and being engaged and engrossed with it as much as humanly possible, your brain ends up doing double duty, coming up with all of the different crazy possibilities that could happen at the end. I'm just as guilty as anybody else there, but the problem arises when the twist endings in your own mind turn out to be technically better than whatever the movie does. To give you an example, some of the things that were going on in my own head while I was watching the film was trying to answer the question on how the police even knew he would be at this concert before he showed up. So here I am, imagining a connection to a previous Shyamalan film, not unlike what Split did with Unbreakable. I figured, what if the cops knew he was gonna be there because Cole from The Sixth Sense was now grown up, he's still helping dead people, and he came across the ghosts of the victims of this Butcher serial killer, many of which tell him where the killer's gonna go next. So Cole helps the police track him down. In my head, I could see that. And I think that it would be incredible for that to be what happens in real life, yet that's not what's going on. In fact, I would argue that the twist in this film is the plot. The plot that's at the beginning of the movie rather than the end. The very basic explanation that this guy is actually a serial killer. Something that you learn right from the get-go, like I said, and it's seen in every single trailer. So is it really a twist? I guess if you didn't see the trailers. So it's easy to look at this movie and call it weaker than a lot of the other Shyamalan movies out there. But if you were to go in without expectations, especially if you didn't see the trailer or if you even knew that Shyamalan was behind it, you might actually end up really enjoying it for its simplicity and buildup of tension. At the end of the day, it really is just about this guy constantly using his brain to intelligently get out of really sticky situations that would stop any normal person. He's like the serial killer version of MacGyver. You always think that it's all over for him, but he always manages to stay one step ahead. The premise is so simple for a thriller that it might actually be a little bit reminiscent of certain thrillers that were released decades ago, which were all effective purely because of their simplicity. Apart from all of that, I think that one of the most impressive things about this film as a whole was how M. Night Shyamalan's own daughter, Salika, wrote and performed every single song in the movie. She's not just playing a pop star, she went all out, and she made this film feel all that much more real. And she did a great job in the process. I could see people actually going to this concert for real. The movie was pitched as a Silence of the Lambs type of movie that takes place in a Taylor Swift concert setting. So you can kind of understand the style of music and level of fame that Salika's performance and character was inspired by throughout. Now, as I have said, this is definitely one of the weaker Shyamalan films that I've seen in a while, especially coming from a self-proclaimed fanatic of his work. I've loved more of his stuff than a general audience has for a variety of reasons. And no, not just because he has twist endings. For me, it's his style and vision that he has that he usually puts into any given film. I've said it before, I'll say it again, but you can usually tell whenever M. Night Shyamalan is directing a movie or an episode of TV. There's just an ambiance, a feeling, an atmosphere in everything that he does, and it just screams Shyamalan. Now, while there is a few instances of that in this film as well, especially any of the close-up shots of the characters' faces looking directly into the camera, there's really not a ton of those moments either. Plus, the pacing of the film is, in my opinion, rough. By the halfway point of the movie, I was pretty sure it was wrapping things up and it was coming to a close, but little did I know there was still a good 50 minutes or so left. And from there on out, it felt like it ended over and over and over again. So I feel like this was partially the point, to amplify this idea that it always feels like it is the end for this guy, but he always remains elusive and one step in front of everybody else at all times. But narratively, this choice in pacing really makes the second half of the film feel a little bit tedious at times. Now don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed this movie quite a bit. There's nothing in it that feels outright bad, at least not to me. The performances were great, the musical score sometimes reminded me of Shyamalan's earlier works, the first half was really tense and fun, the list goes on and on. But I think it's abundantly clear that we have seen better this year as a whole, and we've seen better from Shyamalan. So letter grade wise, I will be giving this movie a B-. As a whole, it's fair, a lot of fun in places, but tedious in others. Now I would like to hear what you guys had to say about Trap. Were you a fan? Were you not? And what's your favorite M. Night Shyamalan film out there? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, whatever and whenever that may be. But until then, peace out.